that we have. Next, we have a default container, which is the go-to guy whenever something wrong happens. If you ever played any Steam games, such Half-Life games that rely on Source 2 engines and likes, you'll see the infamous purple texture or the error models. That is essentially what the default container will do. If something goes awry, we will use this, i.e. purple texture. And then of course you have your constructors. You have this function here, which will be called and overridden by whatever class is going to extend this. And basically it is the function we call when we delete a texture. That way handler will know, hey, we just deleted a texture, we should probably update that in that specific sprite associated with that specific texture. And this is a helper function to make sure that the container exists within the map. A lot of these are just getters for the internal map. And if you want more information, check the archive video, which I'll be uploading onto YouTube when this stream ends. The YouTube channel is programming included. Next, we have the get container associated resource. This function was what we added once we created the Sprite handler, because we realized that for this function we have to call it when we use resource deleted, because we have to loop through all the instances of our sprites to check that their textures are pointing to the texture that we deleted. And so it would get all that and then it will return an array list. Now obviously we have the helper class that will contain information relative to information about our container, and it'll have the string name, file name, and the generic type object. Alright, again, if you want even more information, check out the archive stream once the Twitch ends. Alright, Sprite Handler. Sprite Handler is what extends the handler class. First we give it a sprite, which is libgdx specific, and next we created constant variables for our default sprites. Next we have a sort of a address location to the texture manager, so that if we want, we can assign a texture manager and we don't have to keep on calling texture manager. Instead, this class will call it for us, create a new texture if necessary, and then create a sprite for us. And so we have the default constructors. The constructors will call the base class constructor to set up the default sprite. Now either we could override that default name and the default file, or we could just pass in the texture and give it the default name and default file. Next we have the create sprite. Create sprite is basically the function that I've talked about previously. It is the helper function. So instead of trying to create sprites using the texture manager, this will do it all in one for us. Otherwise, we also have the getters and setters for our texture manager. And that about is it. So if you don't know, I archive all these streams at youtube.com/programmingincluded if the archive at Twitch disappears. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to finish this game within 4 weeks, and I'm working with other groups, so sometimes I'll have guests come in, ask me any questions, and I'll answer them. And also, as well as the Twitch chat will also be available for others to ask about. That wraps it up for today. If there are any questions, join me next time. I try to stream whenever I'm working on the project. So since my deadline is 4 weeks, expect a lot of videos in the next 2 weeks. Alright, I hope to see you all next time. I promised that I would fix something in Texture Manager. I will do that next time because of time. Alright, this is whatever the Twitch name is, Super Kaito Kito, signing out, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.